everybody, it's Bobby Gaines here to do a little retrospective of 2013. And retrospectives are something that I really used to do a lot back in, not that long ago really. I'd say I used to obsess about it up until 2012 when I decided that looking back into the past was something I didn't necessarily need to do. But as I've gotten away from that, and as I've slowly come back to my version of reality, I don't think it's bad at the end of the year to just look back on what was accomplished in 2013. It's funny, when the year began, I actually referenced to a few of my friends that I thought this year was going to be special, 2013. I don't know what it was, and I don't know why. A lot of it was because of my college graduation, but there was more. There was just something I felt that this year was going to be special, and that was also the first time that I realized that I was getting away from my 2012 self. I was getting away from some of the changes I had made, which at one time would have been considered a bad thing, but I was kind of just moving away from that concrete, I can't really explain it, but at the time I liked logic. I still like logic, and I like knowing how things are going to be. I like that stability, that security. But, if 2012 taught me anything going into 2013, it was just kind of that change is inevitable, and 2013 was kind of a nice example of that. Things changed, but they changed more subtly, and they changed because, in part, I let them change, and in part because I gave enough of myself to make the change, if that makes sense. There's some situations that we're all in where, we have to change. Something happens, either to someone we know or to us, where it's okay, things can't ever be the same again. And when that happens, that can be very terrible, but it's still change. And then change can also happen without anything happening. It can happen just because. And I think that's what 2013 was. It wasn't me changing because I had to. It was me changing because maybe I wanted to, or maybe I didn't want to. And that, to me, as simple as that sounds, is what made 2013 a slightly better year than 2012. Actually, I think it's a lot better of a year. That's not to take anything away from 2012, but 2013, it was kind of like there was a year under my belt now, I wasn't in unfamiliar territory anymore in 2013. I was in my last year of college, my last full semester, which at the time, it was kind of, on one hand, hard to believe, but on the other hand, I'd been there a long time, so it was building to that. But my final semester was both amazing and kind of status quo at the same time. I was more true to myself, as weird as that sounds, in my classes, where I didn't necessarily have to be. You don't have to be a funny guy, you don't have to be a whatever, you don't have to have a great personality to get an A. But I'm not saying I have a great personality, by the way, but I just was kind of was cracking jokes in class. I went on this New York trip with some of my classmates, but also some of my friends, and that was kind of the thing for me, was breaking out of that. I guess you could call it shyness, you could call it a lot of things, but just kind of being myself and not worrying about it so much. But more than the actual letter grade, I took away from it kind of just a good feeling that I could be sociable in a big group of people like that. And it helped that we were all kind of artist types, so we had something to talk about. But long story short, I did graduate. My last semester was a success. I had the commencement, I walked the aisle, I had a great time doing it, by the way. At the time, it was kind of a shock. I always thought when I got to graduation, oh man, I'd be there, I'd be pumped. I've got this thing about me, even now I'm trying to control it, where I can get really pumped, really in your face, but in my opinion, it gets really hard to understand me when I do that. Part of me likes that kind of quiet, quiet applause, not, boom, I did it, So when it actually came time for it, everybody was wearing black robes and caps, and, they had the president of the university speak, they had the president of, not the United States, but they had some other, very high up people speak about the meaning of graduation, about how it's not the end, it's a new beginning. So to me, it just felt like it would have been, not disrespectful, but it would have been a little offsetting for me to all of a sudden get up and go, oh yeah, I graduated! To me at the time, afterwards I kind of had that, but at that moment in time, even after the graduation, I didn't feel right, just kind of celebrating out of my seat like I would for Christmas or like I would for something else. That doesn't mean I didn't celebrate it. It was kind of a weird feeling, because I really did think that regardless of the circumstance, I was going to just bust out and just start going nuts. Still touched by my mom's and my parents, my friends, and their commitment to the graduation party, because I had my graduation party 3 months after I graduated, so it kind of wasn't even a big deal anymore. You know, even my family and like some of the goodwill I built up from the graduation had worn off by then. But in August, we all kind of just pretended I had just graduated again. And we had this awesome get-together at Dave & Buster's. Nothing big. I made a short video of it. It was, again, just my really close friends. I mean, it's kind of funny, you know, I reached out this year, I made some friends here and there, I shared some lunches and did breakfast with some people that I really liked, but I didn't expect them to all be my good friends, and at the end of the day, you know, I still stay close with the few friends that I've been familiar with, and that's fine. So, anyway, trying to move things along here. You know, graduation and the graduation party, all really great, but also, like, and this is where, you know, 2013 kind of just made its mark without even being noticed necessarily. I went to the Red Sox, to a Red Sox game, one of many great Red Sox games. I attended one in person this year. It was the Red Sox versus the Mariners on August 1st with my dad, and we had a great time. We had great seats, and the Red Sox made a great comeback win. So you sensing the theme here? Yeah, it was a great day. Again, in August, though, I saw Maroon 5, my favorite band, for those of you who don't know. And they were with Kelly Clarkson, and she tore the house down. And then Maroon 5 came on, and they just tore the house down again. Maroon 5 was incredible. Getting to go with my friend Amanda was fun. That was another great day. Usually, if I have one day like that a year, I'm happy. One other thing I want to mention, though, is that I did get back into filmmaking, and that was somewhat significant to me. Okay, that was very significant to me. Because after Blockbuster 2, which was almost 3 years ago now, but after I made my last film on YouTube back in 2011, I wanted to make another one. I really did at the end of 2011, even going into 2012. And then in 2012, I just wanted to delete everything I ever made, to be honest. Like, I really was at that point. Like, I didn't want Blockbuster 3, I didn't want another movie hero, I didn't want any of that, because I didn't want to be associated with that. It wasn't even necessarily that I hated it, it was just that it was a phase that I thought was gone, I thought it was out of me, and to encourage it in any way, just to me, did not feel right. And this year, you know, I decided to give it a go. I mean, I already had some of the script written from the early part of 2012 when I was more serious about it. And in 2013, I still didn't feel right about it. You know, it was like a year later since I had picked up the script, and the script was kind of written from a different point of view, even though it was my point of view. But it was like, I didn't like it. So I redid the entire script. I still kept the characters the same. I kept some of the story the same, but I completely reworked it. And I still, you know, I was like, I don't know if I want to make this. Just because I wrote it doesn't mean I need to make it. But I gotta hand it to Frankie and Rhiannon and some other people. A lot of people. I don't want to mention them all right now, but I gotta hand it to them for really getting me back into it and following through. And you know, Rhiannon, everybody who gave up their time and energy for me for those filming sessions. We still have a little bit to go, but the movie looks excellent, and part of me still can't believe I made it to this point. I was the one against the movie, and I still am sometimes. I'm still like, do I really want to do this? Do I really, at the age of 25, want to put on this thing again? Dress like the hero, movie hero, and just do my little act? Do I really want to do that again? I kind of did. I really kind of did. It was partly that I wanted to do the movie, and it was also partly I knew it was my last movie, so it's like, worst case scenario, if it's really stupid, it's my last one, you know? So it was kind of like, whatever, may as well go out with a bang. You know, I learned to follow my passions even if they don't always make sense. Sometimes they don't go anywhere, but sometimes they do. So 2013, I'm wrapping up here. I haven't even gotten to the last quarter of the year, which really impressed me. 2013 was nothing if not a complete year. It had everything, really. From that, you know, beginning part in school to the summer with all the great events. And then we go to the fall, and this is when the Boston Red Sox have quietly surmounted their own really great season. After a 2012 of mediocrity, the Red Sox won 97 games, and they went into the playoffs as, I don't even say they were favorites, but people thought, you know, they could go a long way, and they did. So I can still remember this. It was only a couple months ago. Watching these games, and not just watching them, but filming me watching them, because so many are on YouTube now. And just my live reaction to everything. The American League Division Series, the Championship Series, the World Series. And just kind of I had the camera over there in the other side of the room, literally, and I had my laptop on the very close to it. So literally one inning would end, I would film it, turn the camera off, go into the other room, and come back in here in time to film the next inning. And this went on for a few nights in a row. It became an event. and it was just obsessive, but it was kind of awesome, to be honest, because I was engaged. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was glued to the TV. Every out they made, every run they scored was like, my emotions were like all over the charts. And then when they finally won it, and I was on camera with them winning it, it was just an epic moment. And a moment that was featured on an S&N very briefly. So then you go to November, and I mean, I started getting into Christmas, and that to me, not that it ever surprises me that Christmas is amazing, but the speed at which I got into Christmas and how easy it was, sometimes I do get a little tied down by other things. And Christmas won't be my #1 priority until it gets closer, but I was just good about making Christmas central, getting everything together, and then when it came, it was like, I was good to go, and I had a blast doing it. And it's the kind of thing, like, I would love for every Christmas to be like Christmas 2013. I mean, not that it was the greatest, but it also wasn't the worst, and it was a really fun holiday. So, you know, obviously it's not going to happen every year. There'll be other things happening. Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you loved 2013. If not, 2014 is right around the corner, and there's going to be changes for everybody. That's the only thing that's guaranteed. So, Happy New Year. I will see you all in 2014. Hopefully, I'll be presenting Blockbusted 3 soon as well. And I would love to hear your guys' feedbacks on that and on everything from this year and onward. Have a great night, everybody.